Hey y'all, hey, I'm here. Been reading this book. It's the Autobiography of Malcolm X. This is as told to Alex Haley. So I've been reading this. And I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about chapter 11. The title of the chapter is "Saved," and in that chapter, the time period would be like 1946 to 1950, around that time period. That's when that chapter was talking about in Malcolm's life. At that time, Malcolm was in prison. When he had went to prison, he had get sentenced to prison because of his involvement in some robberies. He had like a group of people that he used to rob houses with and rob businesses with and things like that. It involved a couple ladies. It also involved a couple of his male friends. So he ended up getting some prison time for that. I think about 10 years. He went to several different prisons. One of the prisons that he was in was called Norfolk Prison Colony. While in prison, Malcolm's siblings started to come visit him, and they started to talk to him about the Nation of Islam, which they called the perfect religion for a black man. They started to talk to him about it, introduce him to certain concepts and different things like that. So Malcolm kind of like said that his siblings had converted to Islam, and then I believe that Malcolm started to kind of convert also. In this conversion, Malcolm started to write letters to Elijah Muhammad. Okay, he would write letters to Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad would write back to him. He said sometimes he would even send him money. During this process of writing letters, Malcolm became very frustrated because he said he lacked the vocabulary and writing skill to articulate things the way he wanted when he wrote. He talked about being so this was frustrating to him, the not having the fully ability to say what he wanted to say through writing with the pen. He talked about his ability as a street hustler. It's really frustrating because as a street hustler, he was like the best on the street. Really articulate. His street vernacular, street vocabulary was top notch. But on the academic side of things, he struggled. And he said a lot of street hustlers back then on the street, top notch vocabulary, top notch hustling ability. But when it came to this other thing like reading, writing, a lot of them struggled. He mentions that when he was in prison, one of the prisons he was in, he met a man in Charleston prison named Bimby. And he says he envied Bimby because Bimby used to read a lot and he had a lot of knowledge about history and different things like that. And when Bimby would talk, people would come around and listen. Other prisoners, even prison guards would come around and listen to him. So he began to envy that because he saw the power that this man was able to get from people, the influence that he had just because of his knowledge. He says that when he used to read books, he used to skip over words on purpose because he just didn't know how to he didn't know how to pronounce them. He said like after he got done reading like a page, he wouldn't be able to understand what he read because he had skipped so many words. So one of the best discoveries that he said he found was he just started he picked up a dictionary. He says that's probably like one of the best things he ever happened to him was when he picked up the dictionary. He started reading the dictionary. When he first started, he just started looking through it and he was amazed at how many words were out there that he didn't even know existed. So what he did was he got a dictionary, he got some notebooks and some pencils that he got from the prison, store or wherever we got them from. He says he started with the first page of the dictionary. He decided to start just copying it into his notebook. So he started with the A section, and he would copy the word, the definition, the part of speech, every definition. He says he did that. He said he copied the whole page of the dictionary from the A section. He says after he was done copying that, what he did was he went and he would just memorize, say the definition, say the word over and over again. And eventually he memorized every word and every definition that was on that page. He said once when he was done doing that first page, he went to the second page and he did the same thing. And he learned all those words. And he just kept repeating that all the way through the dictionary, all the way through the A section, the B section, the C section. So you can imagine the broadening of his vocabulary through just because he was able to do this with the dictionary. He says that he believes through this exercise that he found, he believes that he was able to maybe copy or write 1,000,000 words, and he says that people would be surprised because the way he spoke and the way that we know him as the videos that we see and all the people who listened to him back in the '60s would have never thought this. If they would have met him in the '40s, though, they might not have. He might not have had that same ability. He says the dictionary and the exercises that he was doing with the dictionary opened up his world. It broadened his whole world, his whole perspective on the world, because he has so many words now that he can use and so much knowledge he could use. So this was a part of chapter 11 in the autobiography of Malcolm X. Hope you enjoyed this. I will be coming back with other portions and talking to you about other things that happened throughout the book. Peace.